First, thanks for sitting with us.
Oh, my pleasure.
And chatting. I'm on Instagram a lot, and I'll see a picture of one of your fine watches next to your coffee. Or just like in some way, it's just like, look at this coffee I'm having, and look at this amazing watch at the same time.
Supernatural.
Right?
Yeah. I wanted to design something that people could relate to. So with those photos of simple coffee sitting down at Birch, it's something that I think a lot of people understand through their rituals, that they sit down and they have their coffee and they just have a moment away from work, or they have a moment where they're having a date. So I wanted to play into that and celebrate it, and the espresso machine was actually the inspiration behind it. I wanted to take something that's a little bit more industrial, that played into the coffee realm.
Was there a particular espresso machine that kind of really was like the driving force behind the design?
But I was looking at a lot of old vintage machines,
Okay.
A lot of really heavy steel, old Italian espresso makers.
Yep.
And I wanted to take that in its most minimalist design form and just translate that into the watch. So I wanted to express the industrial nature of this, similar to espresso machines, with the vented cutouts on the crown, the subtle bean on the dial, and again on the crown. It's like simple features that kind of remind you this is about your coffee time. Even on the back, it has the vented cutouts. You might see these on the grates seen on the espresso machines. So again, it's all just playing into that industrial machine, that industrial heavy piece of equipment.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the catalyst for that experience.
It's a very masculine watch.
Yes.
Right. So, are you working on something that is geared more towards women at all, or is this strictly going to be a gentleman's watch at this point?
It is a gentleman's watch, and what I've noticed, women are wearing bolder pieces these days. They are wearing larger watches.
Yep.
So I've noticed a lot of the women have been ordering the rose gold.
Huh.
So that was interesting. I didn't plan for that, but that was like a positive note that people were really like taking this design well.
Yeah.
For the future design, I will scale it down. I want to make it extremely wearable, as much as possible. You walk down the street, you see a Rolex, you know it immediately.
Of course.
I wanted this to have that same visceral effect. Like you see this, oh, that's a brew watch. Square, heavy, industrial, right away.
I mean, coffee is obviously a deep part of the base of your company.
Yeah.
At what point did you kind of have your
The epiphany.
of that this was the story that you wanted to tell?
Actually was in the cafe, and I did a lot of freelance work for other watch companies, and I didn't have an office space, so my studio was the cafe, and it was kind of like an escape. It was a place where I could be more creative, and constantly going every day, I saw that other people were kind of living the same life as me. So if I could create an experience or kind of celebrate it in a way that people can relate to or connect to, then I think I had something. And a lot of people related to this experience, not just the design, but it was the story that it told through it. It's kind of like a special doorway, I could say, that opens up a different world. It's a peaceful place, it's a peaceful escape. Whereas I can go anywhere else in the city and it's always a rush. It's always I gotta pick up and go. When I'm here, it's like a mini vacation for me. So I think differently, I feel differently. No, it's I need this. And without this, I'd probably go crazy.
Okay.
You know? This is my escape, and I know that other people feel the same way. I always wanted to do something a little art-based. Like I love drawing, I love designing, but my parents are like, you got to do something that's solid. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll go for something that's more engineering-based, so I could do my art, be creative, but have more of an engineering background. So I went for industrial design. I learned all the engineering, everything that goes into making a product, and I got to be creative.
I guess your family is involved in jewelry design as well?
Yes. My father, he works for Tiffany's, and both my grandfathers worked for Cartier. They would actually physically make these extravagant jewelry designs. And to have that in my blood and in my history was like, I need to do something. I need to at least make par to this great heritage I have. Having a watch company, doing my own designs was like the very least that I could do to live up to.
When I was a kid, I always wanted to go to work with my dad.
Yeah.
What's your story in regards to that? I mean, were you able to go to Tiffany's with your pops to go?
Special occasions, but I got something better. In our home, we had a jewelry shop downstairs. So if he ever had jobs that he needed to work on, whether it was like literally taking a chunk of wax and carving out a ring from scratch at home, he would say, hey, John, come over here. Let me show you how this is all done. And I'd see the entire process. I was a kid. I didn't know I was absorbing it. I was just having fun, carving away. It's nonsense, right? But over the years, as you get older, the process makes sense. You create these formulas in your head. My father always told me, he's like, you don't want to do this. This is hard labor. He's like, look at my hands. He's like, you see these? Yeah. He's like, I work very hard. He's like, I'm sending you to school so you don't have to work as hard, And sure enough, I went to school, but I still enjoy that trade.
Started on a Kickstarter campaign, delivery of the watches, right? The next phase.
Yeah.
Right, and getting the watches out to
every
everybody.
single person, one by one. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. What's next?
Working on Spring's design. So next year, right now it's all conceptual, just drawings, hand sketches, playing on the computer, talking to different manufacturers, and still want to play true to the brew philosophy that it's all about your coffee time. So I'm trying to push the limit, keep it like, I want to make this really wild. I want to make this really cool. I want it to have its own DNA. I always say it's more about savoring that moment in time and not just about the consumption of coffee. It's about these periods of time with friends, dates, or your personal time. And you can just be creative, you can just think clearly. And that's my escape. And
why the watch?
I wanted something that would be extremely intimate, that you wear every day. Without it, you feel naked. Jewelry is more for very special occasions, for special outfits. I wanted this to be every day, and I wanted to, just like your coffee, build into that ritual. You wear this, you take it with you, and it reminds you of that period of time.
I'm going to jump down to the hard-hitting part of the conversation.
I'm ready.
What is your blood type?
O positive.
I don't know my blood type. I swear to God.
I gave blood, almost passed out, I remember.
Yeah, I still to this day don't know my blood type. It's like criminal, like I should know my blood type. And I don't. Your perfect pizza, what is it?
Pepperoni.
God bless you.
Simple.
Have you ever danced in the rain?
Does jumping over puddles nearly falling count?
Well, if it was my daughter, then yes, that would yeah. I guess that counts. What was the weirdest prank call that you ever made?
I think we called our friend saying that we were electricians and that his bill was overdue. So we were trying to get some money from him by saying that we were electricians, that we helped him out, and that he needed to pay right away.
Well, listen, John, thank you very much for sitting with us today.
Definitely.
And doing this. I really appreciate it, and for explaining brew watches to us better.